So here we are, welcome to a very quick tutorial. Now this is something which has been requested quite a lot. YouTube is a safe haven for beginners in any sport, and fishing is no different. So a very simple and basic go-to carp rig that works and catches fish. Now this isn't going to be one of those bespoke rigs, you know, slip D's, Ronnie's, Choddies, whatever else it is that you're looking for. This is the most basic, straightforward hair rig. Looks just like this, and it works, it catches fish. So what I'm going to do is take the next few minutes to run you through that. Feel free to pause this video at any time, and obviously as usual I'd love to hear comments if you do anything different or have any tips or recommendations that you could share with the wider fishing community, then please feel free to do so. So here we have a little array of things. Obviously we have our different size hooks. These are things which you'll need to get set up. Some sort of braided, coated hook length is normally your basis foundation, which is this material here. When we then look to attach the hook onto here, we have options including the little anti-tangle rubbers on the end, tungsten beads or split shot weights, and even to attach your hook ends and adjust your hair rig a little bit better, we have the pieces of silicone that we can attach on there as well. Now when it comes to attaching this rig onto your main line, we will also need swivels, tail rubbers, some sort of rig tubing, lead clips, leads of course, which will all then add onto your main line. Now if you are a complete novice at this, the basic stuff like this works absolutely fine. It doesn't have to be the more expensive products, and I'll talk to you a little bit more about that as we go through. I'm not sponsored by any of this, it's just the general stuff that I tend to use. So yeah, if you've got different brands, then there is no issue there as well. If you are looking to get all these bits and bobs, some companies do sell them like this, already pre-rigged. So you've got enough there for sort of 5 rigs, and it all comes in one tub rather than having these separate bits and bobs. But for today's video, I'm just going to take you through how to make this very basic hook length hair rig, really the only rig you ever need. So without any further ado, let's get rid of the bits that we're not going to be using straight away and have a look at what we have got. The tools we're going to need for this: so I've got a hook puller, I've got some scissors. Now it doesn't matter what sort of scissors you've got as long as they are sharp. We have a baiting needle, or you may need a drill depending on what it is you're using for your bait. I'll pop these just down there for a moment. Okay, I'll talk to you about some optional extras as we go through as well. But yeah, let me know what you think of the rig as we build it. Leave us a comment down below if you've got any tips and tricks that you want to share with the wider fishing community. As I say, this is a great way to do it. So the first thing that we're going to do, this is a coated hook length. Now any brand will work. I'm not sponsored by this company. This is just the stuff that I have inside my tackle box, so do not feel obliged to buy this. You can go cheaper, you can go more expensive. The choice is entirely yours. Now this is an £18 one. As you can see, there's a £25 one here as well, but this £18 stuff is tough as it comes. I've landed catfish up to mid-70s on it. I have complete faith in the product. What I've done is I've cut that to around 30 centimeters in length. I like my rigs a little bit longer than most. That's personal preference, and it's just how long I'll be cutting it to show you. Now what we're going to do is we're going to strip off some of this rubber coating. I don't know if you can see that coming off there. Now I'll just use my fingernail to do this, or lack of at the minute I should say. You can buy specific tools just for the job, but using a fingernail will allow us to save a few quid on unnecessary tools and a little bit of clutter from the tackle box as well. And how much that you want to strip back, again, a matter of personal preference. I strip back around 40% of the total length, so around 40% of the total length of the hook length. So you should have one side which is coated and one side which is not coated. Now the next thing we're going to do is select our hook. So there's a few different sizes on there. I'm going to go with a size 6 barbless hook today, and the reason I'm going with barbless is because I am currently lakeside in France. This is a barbless venue, and when you're fishing someone else's lake, it's always best to adhere to their rules. That being said, if it does scream off, I will run away for a few seconds before coming back. Folding the end in half, what we're going to do is we're just going to do a single overhand knot in the end which we have just stripped the rubber coating back from. Now my dexterity with my fingers is pretty poor, so I do use a bait needle to assist me with that, like so. So what we should have is the knot on the stripped back side and then the coated side just there. This is when it gets interesting. We get to attach our hook. Now going through the back of the hook, I'm going to call the back of the hook the side which does not hold the point. We are going to set how long we would like our hair. So the hair is the part just here. This is where we attach our hook bait. Now if I grab a generic non-branded hook bait material from this little bag just here, using one of these, whatever your hook bait may be for the day, you can roughly see how far away from the hook you'd like that to be. Now if you're using two hook baits in like a snowman rig style, which is one on top of the other, you might want that a little bit longer. If you're using just the one hook bait, you want it shorter. If you're using a piece of corn, it could be different again, or a boilie and some corn, or some maggots, or anything else that you could possibly think of attaching to this hook. Spam, pepperami, the possibilities are endless. I'm going to say around about there is going to be long enough for the rig that I'm tying now. So our next job is going to be to secure this hook in place. Now we are going to do this with a knotless knot. If you don't know how to do one of these, I'm going to talk you through it now, but there are many diagrams which will be really useful on the internet. All we're going to do is take in the end, the long end, we're going to wrap back up the shank of the hook, nice and tight, nice and neatly. That's 4 times round, 5 times round, and 6 times round. Now some people may go more than 6, some people may go less. However, this is exactly what I would do when making this rig myself. 6 is my lucky number. So you may do more, you may do less, choice is yours. We're going to go back through the back of the hook. So the back of the hook is the side where the point sits away, and we're going to give that a gentle little pull to secure it all in place. Now see, that gives the hook quite a violent kick out there. Now that can become useful if you're fishing a venue where the fish are a little bit more picky with the bait. It can give you a really strong hook hold. You can see these are very sharp, it's just done my finger there. But we're almost there with this rig. We are very almost finished. Now you can see on this one here, which I've already made, there is a small piece of silicone which slides up and down. Now that allows you to just adjust better your hair and how you'd like your hook presentation to sit. That is readily available in big reels and spools like this, and all you do is you pop a bit of that onto your baiting needle, feed it onto there, and then wind it round your hook and adjust it accordingly. Before we finalise this, another thing or difference you may notice on this rig here is this piece of tungsten. Now this is a tungsten bead. Now tungsten sinkers or tungsten beads, they can be put on at this stage. So on the longest end, you'd pop that on there, slide it down to your rig, and they can be adjusted accordingly. There are many other options though for adding a bit of weight to your rig, because if you're using this to pop up, you may want to put something here to hold the ground weight from the pop up from pulling the whole rig up, which is exactly what they would do. You can do that quite easily by adding a split shot. So any sort of split shot onto there. You might want to roll a little bit of putty onto there. You may choose to even do that if you're having this as a bottom bait rig, but for now we're going to leave it empty, just because we are covering off the absolute basics in this video. Okay, using a anti-tangle, get my teeth in, anti-tangle sleeve. No guesses for guessing what an anti-tangle sleeve does. No guesses. You can guess, but you don't need to. That's what I was trying to get at. We will feed that on. So the small end goes on first. The larger end is what's going to press up against our swivel when this rig's complete. And again, another one of those overhand knots. Get the trusty bait needle out again with my sausage fingers. There we go. And the key with this loop is we want it big enough so that when we attach this, we actually attach it by rolling it, putting the hook back through the loop. So it needs to be big enough for everything to pass through. Now you can use your little hook puller. This is where you just give that a nice tighten up there. and your anti-tangle will make that look nice. Now you can trim off your tag end. I'll just push it into there because I'm lazy. You're not going to see it anyway. But there we go, that is our very, very basic rig. Now the only thing you'd have left to do is attach your hook bait. So you pop one of those onto your bait needle. That would then go back through your hair, sliding down on top of there. Now the only other thing you'd need is something to stop your bait. So these are just little plastic bait stops. Pop one of those on there. You can see that pulls tight and that just stops it all from coming off. Now you cut that to the next notch. Save those for your next rig. Obviously tag ends and so on can be trimmed off accordingly. But that there is a very, very simple and basic carp catching rig. Give it a go and let me know what you catch.